Hey, what's up, guys? We had another weekly close for Bitcoin, so I wanted to make the video today because right after this weekly close, saw some huge volatility to the downside, saw a massive sell-off within 4 hours of that weekly close. I'm sure people are losing their fucking minds right now. Did we top? Should we sell? What should we do? Um, what's going on with Bitcoin? So, video today is really so we could zoom out, look at the bigger picture, look at these weekly closes to really help us decipher whether, yeah, was this a top right here, or are we actually getting ready to advance further up? So before I continue with the video, it's not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before making any type of investment decision. Past performance is not an indicator of future performance. So research, 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 all right? Come to the conclusions yourself. I'm not a professional. I don't fucking pretend to be. All I do is draw lines. I give them colors and then I share it with you guys. I just draw these lines, dude, and then I just like share them. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this line. This is what I'm doing. Technical analysis. That's all it is. My opinion. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. So remember, do your own due diligence. Come to your conclusions yourself. Don't let anyone influence you. Not me, not Sam, not Ivan, not John, not whoever the hell's shilling Bitcoin telling you that it's going to $1 billion now. You got to buy it now. Anyone who tells you that they're wrong or they're lucky. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, because you got to play the probability. That's the way I look at the world, and I think that's the best way to invest and really decision to guide your decision making. So as mentioned, uh, I'm gonna dive right in. So in my last video, I talked about how it was possible that we were going to top at this baby blue line. And once we got to the baby blue line, we were going to see a sell off the next week. We were probably going to, finish right below it, see a sell off below. And then the real key was whether we'd finish above it or below it on the weekly. And we had a very decisive break up on the weekly. And I think, personally, what I think is now that we've had this decisive break over the weekly, provided that this candle or whatever red candle we have, it might be a week or two from now, it might be this one right here, as long as it finishes above this baby blue line, it puts this red line in play. And I think what's in play now is we probably are going to surge up to the red line. So I'm not going to really panic too much until I see a weekly close below this baby blue line. That's probably where I think about, okay, maybe it's time to exit these positions. Maybe we're going into a deeper correction, possibly to the bottom of this log channel at 20K, and it would make sense to retest previous all-time highs. And I like this intersection between these significant lines, the green, the purple, and the black. So that's a point of interest. We could hit 20K between March and April. That would be a potential buying opportunity for me. If we do hold above the baby blue line, I think it's possible that we're going to get to this red line and we're going to wick above to about 51,000, 52,000, and that is actually what we've done in most of these intermediate cycles leading to Bitcoin's blow off top move. It's real blow off top move, which comes towards the end of the cycle. So if you think this is the blow off top move, it is possible, like from an Elliott wave perspective, where you have a extended fifth. Bitcoin is most likely in its fifth wave of the Elliott wave cycle, and it's possible that this 20K was a fifth, and this is extended fifth, and maybe we peak out 50, 51, and if we've lost this log channel before, and then we recovered it, and this was just a massive shakeout before the bull run, in my opinion. The final phase of this 12-year bull market, or it's possible that from 50K we lose this log channel again. And I think if we lose that log channel again, that really does confirm that we're probably going to go into like some kind of multi-year bear market. Means something crazy happened in the world. Maybe there was deflation, maybe it's a World War III. I don't know what it is, but That's what the chart would tell us, that something crazy happened where, price fell like that. Another possibility is, even if we do, if we retest 51 and then we wick down, it's possible that we kind of grind down to, because that 51,000 level is the 2.618 fib level. I think it's the 2.618 fib level. Correct me if I'm wrong. I made a video on it, but there were some significant fib levels. And when looking at the previous lows of the previous bull market and the previous highs, that fib level was at 3,000, that 2.61. And when we got there, what happened was we saw a deep correction back to the 1.618 fib level, which was at, 1800. And the equivalent of this move right here is actually, 51K back to 31, 32K. So another possibility is we kind of hit it sometime in June, July, we get to like 30K or something, and then we kind of, spike down to this purple line, and then we start continuing up to this red line where we should break it this third time around. Yeah, so that's the possibility too. That's a possibility too. There's one more scenario I want to play out. I don't think it's likely, but you know what? In this environment, anything's possible. So I do want to talk about it. Now, if we get to the red line and we see a decisive break over the red line, that's where things go parabolic, right? And I talked about that before. This is where we go to the log channel. So if we break above that red line, that's where you want to place your bets. And this run is probably going to end a lot sooner than we think. My prediction is, just like each top that we've made at the end of every 4-year cycle, it would put us on pace to top out sometime late in 2021, early 2022. So I think that's still possible, but I also like to point out that I also like to point out that if we do break this sooner, it's possible that we top out much sooner, probably like, maybe mid 2021, or by the, sometime in quarter 2, quarter 3 of 2021. So that's a possibility too. But what we want to see is a break above this red line, and that's where you really want to place your bets on a parabolic move, because that's from a technical perspective, once you break that red line, things start moving very, very fast. However, you do see a lot of rejections at the red line, and then you see a lot of pullbacks down. And, I don't see anyone else use this chart, so it's been very reliable for me. Helped me call a top here in 2019, and I'm pretty sure we're going to successfully call the top if we see the wick up and then the finish below it. And I think we're going to be pretty good on calling a top right here too at this red line, and then see some kind of retracement before new move up. Patience is the name of the game. Be patient, guys. See what comes to you. So yeah, that's really it for today, guys. Like, that's the video. Like, the key is, like, when I look at what happened in 2019, I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, once we broke into this log channel, I'd just like to point out before I get into this that I only drew the most significant lines on this log channel. I could have drawn hundreds and hundreds of lines on this channel, but I decided that the most logical thing to do was really simplify it and look for long-term tops and long-term bottoms by drawing the strongest resistance points. And what I got was, these black lines, this orderly movement here was pretty damn strong, and then the red line was this, second strongest line. This teal line has been a huge support, and then it was kind of ping-ponging here, so like you could see that it still held some kind of significance. And even here, I think we're going to see the same thing where we kind of have support there, it bounces, and then, it fails. And then this purple line's one that I added recently, where I think that it's very possible that once we peak out, and if we lose this blue line, if we don't ping pong through it like we did in between 2015 to 2017, then it's possible that maybe we're gonna range between the purple and the red until we break that red line, or maybe we break the purple and the black line. Not too sure how that's gonna play out, but that's why we have these strategic zones. That's why I draw these strategic zones, so I have good exit and entry points, and I don't get too messed up. Uh, like I don't get caught like buying here and then ending up having to sell here with my invalidation. It takes off the risk significantly. Um, kind of like a good example of that is in 2019, towards the end right here. What I was doing was I was actually like I was convinced that this was the bottom, and I started leveraging up. So I had a few positions. I loaded up on my Bitcoin, and then I ran it up. I was able to ride it up to around this point, and then I got out, and then I started buying back in around 8,000. And I remember we had that weekly close, and all the Bitcoin I was buying here, I sold here, and then I started scaling in around 75 to 60, 65. When we had the week below, I started buying, and once we broke this, I had my exit strategy. So I didn't really lose out on anything. I had my exit strategy, and I missed this whole wave down, and that could really throw people off when you see the price go down that much that fast. An experienced trader knows that it's a capitulation. I wasn't experienced. I thought that we were seeing a trend change in Bitcoin, and I was able to use my log chart to kind of guide me. And around this point, I was able to decipher hey, I did miss out on being able to buy it and hold it cheaply, but I got the validation I needed to kind of confirm that okay, this is most likely going to break back into the log channel. And when we broke this black line, just look how explosive this move's been. So look how explosive the move was that way, and look how explosive the move was in the opposite direction. And I did mention that once you break this log channel, that you see a move kind of like this, but in the inverse direction. And that's exactly what we saw. So that's why we draw these lines and we look for these strategic entry and exit points. I'm on the wick up here. My plan is to be completely out of my position. I'm actually going to short Bitcoin. I'm not too sure what alts are going to do, so that's going to be very interesting. Maybe I'll make another video on that. It's possible that in 2017, when after Bitcoin peaked, what happened was, look, Bitcoin fell for it fell for a month, but in that time span, all that money that was flowing out of Bitcoin was flowing into alts, and alts were just booming. So I don't know if that's going to happen here, but the only time alts have moved opposite of Bitcoin was the end of that run. So my assumption is that perhaps alts bleed again, and maybe we don't see that run until Bitcoin forms some kind of range like this, and then maybe alts begin running. I'm really not too sure, so I'm going to play that one by ear as we get there. But my plan is to be out of my Bitcoin position, actually take a short on the wick up, because I think that's a good opportunity if we get there, to kind of write it down in this cycle. And if we have a weekly close above it, then I take my loss. It was worth the risk for me, and then I can we just ride this parabolic move up. So that's kind of the logic behind drawing these lines and formulating a strategy behind it. I'm not recommending that to anyone. That's just simply the way I'm looking at it, and what I want to do. I had this plan a long time ago where anytime we got to the red, we short. Anytime we come down, we long. Okay. Very simple. That's just kind of the way I like to play it. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's really it for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like the content. If you want to see some other type of video, you want to see me cover something else, then please let me know in the comment box below, and I can do that. All right. And you guys have a good week. There's going to be a lot of volatility. There's going to be a lot of things happening. I'll be sure to make an updated video next Sunday when we see this weekly close so we can analyze where we are. There's going to be a lot of clarity after the weekly close. It's possible that we just kind of like recover from this and we just keep moving up. It's possible that we don't get the retest like here. One thing that I found interesting was when looking at the 2019 run and the one now was there were 3 red candles from the log chart to the top, and you had these 2 like red ones right here where they kind of retested like an old range that was broken, and we kind of saw the same thing here with the all-time highs. We saw those 2 red candles, and then we broke over the baby blue. We saw a red candle retest, and it seems like we could be seeing it now. We could be ranging up, and then we have a flat week, and then we have another down week, kind of like here where we had 1, 2, 3, 4th week, boom, we moved down. It's possible we do that, like like maybe towards the monthly close we just see a huge sell-off. I'm really not too sure, but and then maybe we finish up like like around 51. I'm pretty convinced, like based off those fib levels, how strong they reacted in this previous bull market, that these whales or these guys who got these algos, like you got to remember Bitcoin's pretty manipulated market. It's like it's a pretty like the growth is pretty artificial. So I don't know how much of a free market really is, but if they're running these same algos that they used last time, then we should see that pull back from 51 to 31 at some point if they're using that same algo. Whoever it is that really controls the price there. With all the institutional investors, it really mucks things up and it kind of takes things. It gets hard to analyze it, but these things are possible. All right, so we'll make a video updated at the end. We might see that retest before that continuation to the blow off top to about my theory is we go to wick above this red line and then we close below, and then that should be the top. So I'm going to stick to that theory. Only way it changes is if we have a red line close below the baby blue. So remember, see the big picture, guys. Relax. There's plenty of time. If you want to sell now, be my guest. Like you could, and I don't think it's a bad decision. Really, taking profits anywhere right here is honestly a good idea. Like if you've made money and you're content just taking it, like there's nothing wrong with that. You'll never catch the whole move. There's no one who bought on the wick at the bottom here and was able to sell at 20,000. If you know who did that, dude, leave the link, leave the dude's number, give me his address, because I would like to meet that guy who bought on this wick here and sold at the top. People don't do that. The markets don't work like that. You'll never call a perfect top, perfect bottom. I know I try to a lot, but it's so hard to do. Like what you want to do is just catch most of the run. As long as you catch most of the run and you made money, you're good, right? Like that's all you want to do. And if you want to hodl this until it gets to the top, that's even better. Like what, you don't even need to watch this video. This is for people who really want to know what the price action is and really analyze it on a deeper level. But you buy it and you hold it. That's a great strategy too. That's the most effective strategy you can have. You buy, you hold, you wait. And you see what happens. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys have a good week. Crazy world. Things are going to get crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on. So be safe. Enjoy your time with your loved ones. And we'll see you next week. All right.